Alright, we're down at the ag bag setup here. We got a 300-foot bag that we did on Friday here. It is Saturday morning now, and they just started the second bag here last night. And they started it right on top of the first bag, so everything is all sealed up there, and one is kind of helping the other. So, I don't know, I think they put maybe a load in it last night. We've got an old road right here, and there's 600 foot of pavement here between the driveway down there at the bottom and where it starts to run into the bank up there. He wanted to run this bag uphill this time. We came downhill last year and we did haylage, but the hoist had to go up higher, and the back of the trucks were getting caught down in his bagger here. They get caught right in here, and he wanted to go uphill this time around, and it's going to kind of limit. We're going to run out of room up there before we can do a second 300-foot bag. So he's got a shorter bag on here. He thinks there's about 200 foot of plastic left on this. Now this bagger's got a conveyor that takes the material here into the bagger, and then what it's got is a rotary screw right there, and that just kind of packs it into the bag, kind of like a meat packer, and it just pushes the material into the bag and packs it. This unit here has got its own cab on it. His other one that he has doesn't have a cab on it. It's just got a canopy. So this is where the operator would run the bagger from here, and then he can give the truck driver can see everything right through the mirror here. So this is his controls to run the bagger, and then he can of course keep an eye on everything right from the operator station here. What this has, in order to keep friction against the unit itself so it just doesn't go forward on its own, it's got a large cable that runs in the back through the tunnel, and then the material falls down on the cable, and then it causes that cable to pull hard through the feed as it's whether it's corn silage or haylage or whatever you got going in the bag. It causes a lot of resistance against that cable because it's got a lot of material going down on top of it, and that's what runs the pressure, keeps the pressure against the bag, or else this would just push itself forward as it went. It's got brakes on the wheels, so until he gets the bag started, he can set the unit in place. There's the cable right there, and that cable loops back through the corn silage here, whatever's in the bag, and it runs over and it hooks on the other side of the machine. So that cable is dragging through the material here as the bag is getting filled to put resistance on it. Some of the baggers have what's called a backstop. They put a backstop against the bag here. They hook a cable to it. The cable goes up to like a winch rotor. That winch rotor has brakes on it, and that will slow the bag down so that it'll pack itself. And then they've got, usually you run a measurement from one side to the other, and it's got to be a certain measurement. Here's a little indicator here that you can measure it, and I don't know what that means. If it's got to be 440 millimeters or something. I don't know, from here to there or something. I don't know, but there's usually a measurement or a mark on the bag. Maybe it's you know what it is, it's from here to here, and if that's stretched out too far, you've packed the bag too tight. I think that about does it for this machine here. This is a Versa bagger. This works a lot like an ag bagger, the green ones. This has got its own engine on it, of course, It's got a Cummins engine on it, and I don't know what size this is. I should get in there and look at it. I almost think that looks like a big guy. It's got a big valve cover on it, like an ISX that we have in a couple of the trucks. And I haven't talked to him, so it's a Versa Bagger ID 1014. This is William Bullock's machine. He's got a couple of these. Yeah, big cooling package right there. He said this thing will really pump out the stuff. So, yeah, that's a good sized power plant there, and I'm almost certain. Man, look at see the valve cover. Man, it almost looks like an ISX. I can't read that tag right there. Oh, yeah, it almost looks like an ISX. It's 400 horse anyhow, maybe 500, but yeah, I should climb in there. I don't know if I can fit, but that should about do that. Now, this machine has hydraulic drive motors on the wheels. When he gets done, like last night there, actually we gotta do a little bit of covering here yet. Maybe, I don't know. That bag will come back on its own there as it starts to get full. That'll squish down and grab that. But there's his maximum bag length indicator right there. Once you get to there, they want you to stop. So I guess that's it. So when the bag gets full and he wants to switch to another bag, it's got hydraulic wheel motors on there. That unit will actually move itself. So he pulled this away last night, pulled it up into there, set his new bag on, and then he probably backed up a little bit. I don't know if he would have needed. Yeah, he probably backed up, because here's the tunnel here. He's making a 12-foot bag here, and I know he's got other I think he's got other tunnels for this machine. I think this is a 12-foot bag. I think this machine will do 10-footers too. I'm not sure. And when he wants to do a 10-footer, he just puts a different tunnel on here, so it'll make a different bag. And then these bags, he's got a couple of them on his truck up there. He took my pickup to the motel last night and left his work truck here. But these come in the box would sit on about half a pallet, and then you put it on here, and the plastic pulls out from underneath here. So, well, we better get back up and get in the shop. I've got to finish that fan clutch up, but I wanted to get down here and walk around this unit a little bit, and we'll try to get some footage here a little bit later on of this thing running. We did a live stream on it last night, but yeah, so we've got enough room for, like I said, maybe 200 foot or so on this bag here, and then we're going to come right alongside it, slam in another one right here, see how the day goes, and we quite possibly might end up with 4 of them here all together, but we'll just have to see how it kind of goes here. We've got a little bit of healthy herd left to put into this bag here, and then we're going to finish him out. Finish this bag out anyways with I don't know if I'm going, I haven't made up my mind yet whether I'm going to go back into BMR and get him topped off with BMR, or if I'm going to go into conventional silage here. So yeah, so we'll catch you on the rest of this video here, and we'll have some other footage here for you. Here's some bags that he has here on his truck. They're 300 footers, and the thickness of this plastic is 9.3 mils. It's a 12-foot bag, 300 foot. Must be this box of plastic must weigh 515 pounds. So you can get 2 on a pallet, so it's like 2 foot by 40 inches, maybe 2 by 2 by 40 in that box there. And looks like he's got 1, 2, 3. He's got 3 300-foot bags on there, so Well, it's Sunday morning here. He finished the third bag Saturday night about, it was about 7:30. So we did a 300-foot bag there, 300-foot bag here, and then this one here is maybe 180 or so. We didn't quite have enough room to put a full 300 on the end here, so we just used a shorter one there. So this is the cable that I was talking about, that provides the pressure so that the bagger has something to work against. This cable is still inside that bag, but it's just the end of it. It only goes back there about another 6-8 feet or so. I can't pull it out. He'd have to pull the machine ahead. So that cable ends up hooking on to, now that one's on the right hand side. It loops around under the pile of silage here, hooks back to the other one, and with the pressure of that cable pulling through the heavy feed, that's what keeps the bagger in one spot and provides a decent pack so that the bagger will make a real good bag there. So this is the rotor on the bag, on the bagger. It's where the feed comes in on the other side, and it ends up coming through that rotor there. And that's what forces this feed into the bag. We're standing inside the tunnel right now, and the bag would, you know, wrap around tunnel there, and then that's his winch right there to get the bag up on top of the unit here. There's his little basket right there that he would bring down on the ground, roll his bag up on top of it, raise it up, push it onto the machine. He's going to come back and grab his machine here Monday morning, and he's got some hay to do with it. That's the conveyor chain earlier in the earlier part of the video. That table there, conveyor, had a lot of feed on it, so you couldn't see it. So this bagger has a I talked to him last night again. It's got a 500 horsepower Cummins in it, so that must be an ISX Cummins engine in there. So 500 horsepower, that's quite a bit of power for an ag bagger. The first bag down there has the healthy herd in it, along with this one, up to that black line right there. So we've got BMR in the end of this bag going that way, and BMR in that 300 footer down there. So what we'll have to do, we'll come in here in a couple days. We'll probably just use sand on the end. We'll dump a part of a bucket load of sand all the way around the bottom after we fold it up, and we'll just set a couple of big tractor tires on there just to keep the wind from getting at the plastic here. But by dumping sand on, you dump the sand up in there, or dirt or gravel. Gravel would probably work a little better. The weight will end up falling back down to the bottom from the sand or the gravel, and it'll draw that plastic tight, and then we'll just set a couple of tires on there, and that's how we seal them up. The other end of this bag, this one is sitting on top of that first one. We do have to seal up this end of that first bag a little bit, but we'll let that air out for a couple days before we cover it up. And well, it's Tuesday morning. We just Got a pretty good rain shower here this morning. It's supposed to rain pretty good here today. 80% chance of getting an inch of rain. So we've got to cover up the ag bags. It's been a couple days now since we have filled them. Just diving into our bedding sand bay here. So we're going to run down to the ag bags. We've got to cover up the ends. We usually just use sand on them or crusher run or something, but the sand is a little cheaper to use. And it seals it up real nice and tight. And then we'll set a couple of tires on top of the end of the bag just to keep the wind from getting at the loose plastic. Usually the sand tightens up the sealment of the bag. So we'll go ahead and run down the road here and get this job done here. So yeah, we're just running down the road here. There's the bags there. They're sitting on the old road, and we'll go ahead and get them covered up. So this end is where the bag started from, and the one end is rolled in underneath itself, and that's sealed up pretty good. So we got to go up to the other end where the bagger pulled off the end here, and we'll situate the plastic a little bit, and then we'll just dump the sand on the end of the bag, and then we'll come down with a couple of tires and set tires on top of the plastic at the end of the bag here. We got a pretty good rain shower here this morning, so we won't be chopping today. Just fix this plastic a little bit, but this has had a chance to gas a little bit, and then of course the silage is like an orange from it. So this bag over here, I think I got to put something down over the end of it. I don't know if he's got that. Yeah, that's sealed up. So this bag here is sealed from the weight of that bag on top of it, and then he went ahead and put a vent in the top of that bag. So we'll have to Okay, so I just kind of brought the ends underneath itself, tucked itself in there, and then we'll just dump some sand down over the end. And then what that's going to do is the weight of the sand is going to pull down tightly on that slack that's in that plastic there, and it'll actually seal it up better than if you just put something across the end. There is a zipper that you can get that kind of works like a windshield seal. The two pieces go together, and then you put like I call it a zipper, and that'll seal it up too, but you end up with an air pocket in there. This way, when we put the weight on there, it's going to take that air pocket out, push the air out, and then the sand will seal up the end, and we'll just set a couple of tires on there to keep the wind from maybe getting at the plastic. We just want the weight of the sand. We want the sand to dump on there and kind of fall off towards the edges. And what that's going to do is it's going to seal it right up. See, that's kind of brought the top of the bag is nice and tight now. Now the only problem with the sand, however, is it can wash off on you, but usually it stays there, it stays in place, so we can keep an eye on that and come back down and put a little bit more on if we have to. Got just a little bit left in the bucket here, and we'll go ahead and let that dump on there. And the weight of it is going to that's brought it down pretty tight. It's got a nice tight seal now against the end of the bag. And we're just going to take a little bit of this pile at the top here. I know I'm a good deal away from the plastic, so I'm not actually touching anything. I'm just pulling the top down a little bit, and we're getting it down towards the end of the bag, and then the weight of the sand is gonna seal up the bag there. Okay, that sand is gonna do its trick there. Now we'll go out and get another bucket load of sand for that other bag there. Alright, this just happens to be the day that we bed stalls here, so we're coming into the commodity shed to grab our second bucket load of sand. It's not a whole bucket load, it's only about 1.5 yards or so. So now we'll run down and we'll do up that second bag. Alright, so we're lined up. We're getting ready to do the same thing to the second bag here. We're gonna fold this plastic in underneath and dump the sand on top of it. And like I said before, that's just gonna pull this plastic down nice and tight. And then we'll have to cut a vent hole in this one, and I've got to go down and cut one in that one. That one's already starting to develop a gas pocket in it. And you can kind of see it from here, but we'll cover up this one, we'll cut that one, we'll come back up here. By the time we get back up to this one is going to start to create a gas bubble in it as well. So I'll go ahead and I'll set you guys up here. Okay, so we have the sand secured around the base of the bag here, and then this bag is just nice and tight. It's actually starting to gas right now. So what we'll hole in that, something that we can let the gas out of there. Some of it is probably an air pocket from the weight of the sand coming down on the excess layers of the plastic here, but we'll go ahead and cut a little hole in this so that this can air out. Yeah, that's actually, it might be gassing now. We'll go down to this bag here. This has had sand on it for about 15 minutes now. And that was sealed up pretty tight. And that's probably gassing as well. Sloppy. Yeah, let's see what this one's like here. Yeah, this one's filling up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my knife here and I'm just going to put a little hole in this, just like that, and then that will give it some time to air out, and then we can come down here and we can just tape this back up. But it's got quite a bit of air coming out of it right now, and it's you know, it's, yeah. Okay, we're back up at the end of this other bag here, and this has got, you know, this is puffier than it was when we walked down, prior to walking down to that one. So we'll do the same thing with this one. We'll just put a little slit in it here so that can air out, and then we'll set these tires on here. I've actually seen these bags, you put a tire on it and the gas would end up lifting the tire up off the plastic. That's how much pressure that the gas, how much gas will accumulate in there and how much pressure it can put on that plastic. You can run the risk of blowing a big hole in the bag, and usually it'll blow back down farther where the material is packed a little tighter. Alright, so we're going to jump into telehandler here and put our bale forks on, and we'll run down and set some tires on there. Push this. Can I push that out of the way, or is that got a hose in the way? So we can just kind of push this out of the way here like that. So we'll grab our bale spear here, push this guy out of the way. If I can land on this thing right, maybe I'll hook it up. Thing's got a few hours on it, 8,700 hours. Just flipped 8,700 even. Alright, so we're just going to grab a couple tires here. We'll start with a couple of payloader tires. Hooked into that one, right? Okay, so we'll just take these down the road and set them in place. Alright, we'll get these tires setting on the bag here. Put any kind of holes in it. I don't know if they'll stay in place or not. That'll keep the wind from getting at that plastic and lifting it up at all. Grab the other payloader tires. It's a flat enough surface to where they might stay there. That doesn't look too bad. I've used tractor tires before too, and they'll kind of, one tractor tire will kind of just sit right in place on there. So we put recap payloader tires on a couple weeks ago, and them tires there were just sitting in the way, and we're not going to cap those casings again, so they are going to the junk pile anyways. Ouch. This needs ride control. Those tires are just going into the salvage pile anyhow, so they'll serve a purpose down here on these ag bags. So we'll jog up the road here and we'll get another pair of tires scooped up. That'll just about take care of the ag bag job here. Get that over in the center a little bit. There we go. 2-for-1 special. We gotta clean up the dooryard here anyways. We gotta get these out of the way. Okay, we'll just reach up, set these on there. Don't look like they're going to want to sit too good on there. Yeah, I'm actually going to push this one up on there a little bit more. There's that. Well, that's going to do it for this video. That's the ag bagging process here. Just going back up the road after setting them tires on there. And that's what they kind of look like from here. This window's a little steamed up here. Well, that's the bags, folks. Well, hit that subscribe button if you haven't done that already, folks. And if you have any questions about bagging or anything like that, we've done our fair share of bagging through the years. We've done everything from the tractor driven types with filling with bags with self-unloading wagons, to the tractor powered units that we dump the silage trucks into, to these self-pellet units. So, well, leave me a comment down below, hit that like button if you like this video, and we'll catch you at the next one.